Miami would have made it to the playoffs last year if they had a playoff caliber defense. They had poor run defense. Their pass defense was allowing guys like Kyle McCord and Tyler Shuck to throw the football all over the field against them. And with them firing Lance Guidry and replacing him with a new defensive coordinator, along with bringing a lot of new faces in from the transfer portal, there's a good chance that Miami finally has a championship caliber defense that can help them finally win the ACC Championship for their first time ever. Yeah, I know they've been in this conference for a very long time and they've yet to win it. This defense could change that though. Mario Cristobal, say what you want to about him not being that good of a game day coach. The guy's a good recruiter and he doesn't hesitate to make changes when necessary. And that all started when he pretty much cleaned house with his prior defensive staff, and then he revamped it, bringing in defensive coordinator Corey Heatherman from Minnesota. Last year, Corey Heatherman's defense carried Minnesota in a bunch of games that they won. They were in the top 10 in several statistical categories. They were 9th in pass yards per game allowed, 5th in yards per game allowed, and they only gave up 16.9 yards per game, which was 9th best in college football. Miami is also going to be bringing in a bunch of really good position coaches. You got a new D-line coach, 2 new coaches in the secondary, which includes safety coach Will Harris, who Miami got from Florida. He's considered to be one, if not the best safety coach in college football. So Miami is going to be a vastly better coach defense this year than what they were in 2024. And Mario Cristobal spent a lot of money improving this secondary in the transfer portal. You get Wisconsin corner Xavier Lucas, who started every game for the Badgers as a true freshman last season. He was the number 1 rated cornerback from this past portal cycle. And I expect him to not just become an elite cornerback for Miami, but an eventual first-round pick in a few years. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, so that's really good size for an outside corner. Charles Brantley, they pick him up from Michigan State. He's going to be bringing a bunch of experience to this defense. He has 24 starts. In the 9 games that he played last year for the Spartans, he caught 3 interceptions. He had 7 pass breakups. And he had the 2nd lowest passer rating allowed in college football. You also got another corner from Washington State and Ethan O'Connor, who was the 10th rated cornerback from the portal. He had 32 tackles. He led Washington State in interceptions with 4, along with 8 pass breakups. And pairing all 3 of these guys up with O.J. Frederick, who was a freshman All-American for Miami last season. He was the only bright spot the Canes had at cornerback last season. This should be one of the best cornerback rooms in all of college football. Not just do you have a lot of talent at this position, but you got a lot of depth. So if you have some injury issues like you did last year, it's next man up. You should still be able to get really high level production. Miami also got some really good players on the back end at safety. Zechariah Poyser from Jacksonville State, he's coming off a breakout campaign, 75 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 8 tackles for loss. Not just is he good in coverage, but he also can come down and lay the hammer down in the run game. And he was the 2nd best safety in the transfer portal. Jakobe Thomas, they recently got him a few weeks ago out of Tennessee, and 3 seasons at Middle Tennessee State and with the Vols. He has had over 130 career tackles, 4 picks, a few forced fumbles to go along with a few pass breakups, and he was a top 10 player during the spring portal window. So this is not just a revamped secondary, but this is one of the most stacked secondaries in all of college football. I feel this is money well spent. Like I said, great depth, a lot of high-level talent, and a bunch of these guys should be playing in the NFL. And a few of these guys like Ethan O'Connor and Xavier Lucas, what I love about these pickups is they're not just one-year rentals like Charles Brantley. These are guys who are going to be around for at least another season or 2. And on the defensive line, Miami didn't really have to hit the portal that hard to improve this area of their defense due to how well Mario Cristobal has recruited. You got 3 former top 50 recruits on this D-line entering this year. And you are really good getting after the quarterback. And with you losing Tyler Barron and Simeon Barrow to the NFL draft, you're going to need these guys to step up. You got a few guys that return as well. Reuben Bain is a guy to look out for. Athletic freak, really good size. He's been projected to be a top 50 pick in next year's draft. And expect a breakout campaign from defensive tackle Justin Scott. He was rotated in a good amount last season, and he was like the 11th rated player out of his recruiting class from the South Florida area. And he's a big, twitchy athlete. He should be not just good against the run when he's causing a bunch of havoc plays, but he should be able to get really good pressure on the quarterback. I expect them to have around like 4 or 5 sacks, which may not be that impressive from a box score standpoint, but when you can get a defensive tackle that can give you 4 or 5 sacks, that's really good production. The only question that I have about this Miami defense is the play that they're going to be getting out of linebacker, only due to the lack of proven production that they have. But overall, Miami has a championship caliber defense this year. This is a defense that is not just good enough to win the ACC, but they also are good enough to make Miami a national title contender. Now you got a really good offense. You got a good defense. I expect to see Miami competing for the ACC title this year. At least that's what the ceiling and the expectation should be. This is a stacked defense. New coaching staff. Corey Heatherman should be a really good addition. And even if this defense isn't as good as what it was at Minnesota under Corey Heatherman, you can't do anything worse than Lance Guidry. That guy was just absolutely terrible. So I'm expecting big things out of this Miami Hurricanes defense in 2025.